Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Mongoose Publishing's outstanding Traveler 2nd edition 2022 update. Boy, time she is a flying. I remember when this book just barely came out. And we are playing through a modified version of their adventure, Reach Adventure 5, the Borderland Run. Oh, and I got shipping notification. There's a new Reach Adventure showing up next week. Speaking of which, so that'll be our next 2 years of plays, playing that one module. So, and with me today are the stars of the Borderland Run campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Graham.
Oh, hi. Right. I am Graham, and I am playing Dane Loverick, who is your cuddly, friendly former Black Ops drop Marine from the Imperium.
Very nice. Next up is Carl.
Wow, I wasn't ready for that. Usually I'm last. But,
never again, buddy. Never again.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I must have shamed you there. Now I'm never going to be last.
Not at all. I don't want anybody feeling like they're left out.
All right, so I play Anchor Gavel, who is a Vargur, so it's an uplifted canine species in the Traveler verse, but he is not a Vargur from the Vargur extents, so he's not a wild Vargur. He's raised and trained and did a long career in the Imperial Navy.
Very nice. Next up is David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm playing Dr. Ilyas Abdel, a physician who's hoping that Dane will be extra cuddly and deal with the problem we're about to encounter. So hopefully my skills will not be required.
I mean, how are your mortuary skills? Because I think we left with Dane about to shoot a dude in the head, so...
Yeah, I think I did like one term of pathology.
Yeah.
Back at uni.
And last, but certainly not least, is James.
Yep, I'm James, and I'm Captain Gani and engine room tinkerer of the Rift Wanderer.
Very nice. So last we left our heroes, or travelers, we were about to get in a gunfight. But one of the things we pointed out is there wasn't quite clear what everybody was actually carrying. I think that... Dane was definitely carrying a pistol of some kind because that seems to be the way that you described the action that you were going to take last time. But let's quickly talk about that. We know that Ultima 1 is disguised in kind of like large ceremonial robe kind of, or not ceremonial, but like large robes and almost a, what do you call it? Not a keffiyeh, burqa kind of thing. And... Tila Toro was greeted by some other Aslan here, and he was given a ceremonial robe as well. But what were the rest of you guys carrying? I'm assuming everybody's, as they say, packing heat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a low law level, so I don't know. I mean, like, so Anchor has his cloth armor and then his trench coat, armored trench coat over it. Okay. And then he's got... weapon-wise, if we're allowed to, why not carry the Gauss
rifle?
You know,
yeah,
the rifle and the pistol. You know, not like this, but you know, like we're part of a procession with honoring Tila Toro, right?
Yep, yep. That's not going to draw too. I mean, it'll draw attention, but it's not going to. You know, no one's going to tell you to not do it because of the law.
I'll be the same, so it'll be sort of full armor, but and also carrying a similar Gauss rifle, which now has a personal head-ups display.
Nice. That way you can watch your stories while doing guard duty. So, what about Captain Gani and Dr. Ilyas? I think Dr. Ilyas has a brand new gun, doesn't he?
I think Dr. Ilyas is wearing his cloth armor. He does have a Gauss pistol, and it's actually not a bad shot. No, but I'm not sure if it's not sort of the first thing he packs. So, if Dane pointed out, "Oh, doctor, please, come prepared," he'll have it on him, but it wouldn't be something he would automatically, consider an essential.
Yeah. I think you guys keep many of the weapons in the weapons locker or the what do you call it? The crew's locker, ship's locker, and there may have been a scene where you guys are tooling up and getting ready, and Dr. Ilias, you're kind of picking up the gun, and maybe Dane does a kind of situation. What about Captain Gani?
Gani will, well, since we're going in mob-handed, I'll take the cloth armor as usual, the mag rail rifle, and, you know, hell, if we're all going loaded to the gunnels, I'll carry a Gauss pistol as well on my belt.
Okay. Then, does anyone remember how stacking armor works in this? Carl makes a good point, and I don't remember how that works in this.
I think it's the highest.
Is it the highest?
Counts.
Okay.
But maybe worth checking.
It's dependent.
Yeah, it depends what we're talking about.
Let's take a quick peek, because I think folks might get shot today. So let's brush ourselves. It's so rare that this happens. Let's brush
What
up.
combination talking about?
It was a cloth armor and an armored trench coat, I think, Carl. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So I think if you've got a blative, that can help on top of something else.
I know how I rule it in my game, but this is your game.
Well, I'm just curious what the rules written is first, and then we can figure out from there. While I'm doing this, why doesn't everyone give us a D6 roll, and let's see how much...
Yeah. I think it's in Central Supply anyway.
Oh, is it?
So, it's on page 100 of the core book. It says, unless otherwise noticed, only one type of armor can be worn at a time, but there are exceptions.
Yeah.
And then they don't give the exceptions.
It then just says resolve damage from the outside in. Damage that gets through the outer layer of armor is next applied to the inner layer.
Oh, okay.
But doesn't then really give anything on.
So cloth armor is... What tech level of cloth armor are you guys wearing? Because that affects the weight
10.
of it?
10, I would have thought. Yeah.
10? Okay, so
Yeah,
then that's
10.
only 3 kilograms. And then... Let's see here. Our trench coat, is that from Central Supply?
Yeah, so I'm looking up Central Supply.
Let's see. In theory, we could have done this before we went live, but I think this really fits with the the pace of play for this campaign. Like, guys, let's start the campaign and spend 10 minutes looking up rules. It's kind of like the most inefficient way of doing an FAQ video.
I think it's kind of probably just for show. That's when. Well, it says here, heavy ankle-length overcoat tailored from ballistic cloth can be worn outside of another layer of standard, archaic or anti-energy armor, but no armor can be worn over it. So you can't put it over battle dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But it can be over standard, archaic, or
Okay, so then there you go. So where is... what page is that on, Carl?
that is on page 12 of the Central Supply.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's tech level 10, 3 kilograms. Oh, no, sorry. Take a tech level 10, 4 kilograms. It's on the...
Which is 7, which is the weight of like the lower tech cloth armor. So the combined weight of those two is the same. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's really good, actually. Put the two together.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
I know. See, I follow my power gamer players, and
It kind of worked.
but again, in our Traveler game, there's not a lot of shooting either. There's not a lot of combat or shooting, really. I mean, it just there's like threats of violence, but really, it's like almost like I don't feel like getting disintegrated or shot up today.
And like it's it's setting aside any other in-world justifications for it. It makes sense to want to have that protection if you're going to be having combat, but also not be walking around in full power armor all the time.
Or combat's really quick. Like in my murder mystery, like it just the way the conversation went, they're interrogating this guy who was pretty hungover. He just went after the guy who was interrogating him, trying to break out of his like manacle, because they actually brought him in. He resisted, so the security brought him in. They had him chained, but then like he broke out because this guy's super strong, like statted out.
Yeah,
This guy's super strong, but then like a couple shots from a stun pistol, he's done.
Yeah.
So it's very quick.
Okay, so
Very
let's
quick.
I might get us a code for this.
What's that?
I might get myself a coat after this.
You guys are the trench coat brigade.
It's pretty conspicuous, though, right? I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's very gangster.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's drop into combat. So first, who's got training in leadership?
I've got one.
Because that can be used to add as a task chain to initiative. So I'm assuming.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yep. Yep. So you can. I'm assuming you've been having a chat with everybody about. Potential violence. So. Yeah, the effect of the check is not a task chain even; it's the effect. Yeah, so that's great. So why don't you give us a leadership check using intelligence, education, or SOC?
So do you want tactics or leadership? Because I can do both.
Did I say tactics? Leadership. Tactics.
Leadership.
I'm on page 74 of the core book. Traveler makes a leadership check, intelligence, education, or SOC, and that is added to...
It's tactics that's used for initiative.
Oh, so this is actually for bonuses to attacks and shit like that.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct. So what happens is you do tactics to get the initiative going.
Yeah.
And that gives us a bonus on our initiative. And then leadership enables like a roving, well, potentially, unless the roll's rubbish, a roving DM that can be parceled out to things due to the leadership as the small unit tactics.
Nice. Okay.
So we start with tactics, I think.
Yeah, and then we'll roll leadership. Pass orders. Hold on.
That's on 73.
I'm just trying to decide if it's that's actually, forgive me, that's a significant action. It's under that category. So ignore me. The leadership thing is an advantage an action you can take. It's not an automatic thing. All right, here we go. I can't even blame the C7 bottom of the paragraph rule for that. That is just right in the rules there, Madison. Come on. All right, so why don't you give us a tactics check, please? Dean?
Will do. Let's see.
And I talked about using potentially a battle map, but because of how many people are involved in this, it's just not gonna... I'm more interested in what's happening to you guys. So these are the ones that your part of the party are dealing with. There is an ambush group of between 30 and 40 that is trying to take everybody out. You can assume Tila Toro's retinue is going to be dealing with some other ones in here, and whatever the outcome of the battle is from your side is going to dictate what's happened overall. That's a -1. You want to spend a point of luck at least to even that out?
Yeah, I guess so. That's rubbish, sorry. It was a 2 and a 3 on the die.
Okay. All right, so then the tactics have not either helped or hindered everybody. Then, is there an initiative button on the... character sheet?
Is it under combat?
I think it's under combat or on the prime.
Yes.
Under combat.
Roll
Below the armor section.
first.
So why doesn't someone give us one roll without clicking the token? Let's see if that works.
Okay.
If it populates... Because Roll20 has said that it should work for all sheets now.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, yep. So you don't need to click on your token. Awesome. And let me... Yesterday's session, I almost broke my streak of not erasing initiative trackers. But I am back on the ball today.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yours didn't work?
Because I have to select a token.
Yeah.
So, my bad.
Did everyone have to select the token, or did...
Ooh, I rolled boxcars. Probably the best roll all night, I guess.
Hey, did I?
Oh,
So I don't think...
is my character here? My character's not around, that's why.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have my token clicked.
You didn't... Yeah, so you're...
Oh, no.
Oh.
I don't see me on the
Oh
screen.
yeah, Gani isn't with us
Uh-oh.
on the screen.
Gani,
That's
what
why.
happened to you?
He's on the ship.
Yeah. He did that thing where he, pretends to start walking and then stops. Let's all you guys carry on. Hold on, Captain Gani, let me bring you in here.
Okay.
I forgot you can split people across screens now, too. That is pretty cool. Let's get rid of Alonzo. See ya. And we'll
I'm okay
stick-
with that because that was an absolutely terrible roll. So.
All right, here you go. Try again, please.
Can I try again?
Oh, that's much better.
There you go. All right, so let's roll for these guys. I've elected, after nearly killing a bunch of players with them on Wednesday, I am not using those Marvel dice anymore because I think they are weighted. Because that 6 comes up really often on that Marvel dice.
Yeah, and please don't use your FFG Star Wars ones ever again.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Oh my goodness. But the attacks weren't all that bad. And you guys had a 10.
Yeah, but six successes on 3 greens was like, what?
Yep.
Yes.
That professional or whatever, the pro subscription, it really pays for itself in dice results. All right. Then here we go. Now, before, I only wanted to get us in the order because Dane is the one who is kicking things off here, and the guy you were shooting is going to dive for cover. So why don't you give us an attack? It is a 10 you need to hit here, Dane, at this range.
Let me just grab the...
Oh, hold on. You said it's a Gauss rifle you've got?
Yep.
What's the range on that?
600.
Then you get, it's point blank. You get +1.
Okay.
Or short range, not point blank.
Now, if I need to remember the context. Am I right in saying that they were? I remember you saying that they were pushing through a crowd. Is that right?
They were, yes. Like there are. This is a very busy area.
Okay. So obviously, I'm going to go single shot, pinpoint.
Okay.
Rather than auto fire. So
Then turning the concourse into a pink mist. Not a bad idea.
I get a +1.
Yep, target number 10, and you get
range.
a +1 for the short range.
want
And
to
remember, don't put the
aim.
plus sign in, otherwise the world inverts.
I'd like to aim.
As a yes, you can do that as a
What does that give you?
+1 for aiming.
Okay,
+1 for
and I've
each
got-
minor action that you spend aiming.
Okay, so that's right. So that's +2, and I get +1 for the head-ups display, which kicks into life. So it's a +3 modifier.
There we go. Guys, I'm playing Shadowrun again.
Okay. The effect is 23 points of damage to that guy.
That is.
Wow.
Does that include the effect in the roll?
The effect looks like it
10,
might do. Let's have a
13.
Is it 46?
Did you set the target number as 10?
15 +8. Yes, it includes the effects.
So 6,
Yep.
Yep.
10,
Oh,
15,
nice. They
20.
fixed these.
They fixed it. That's
Yeah.
the first time I've seen it.
Oh, that's
work that way.
cool.
Yeah.
It's 23
Used to not
points.
add effect. Yeah. 20.
So the
18.
hold on. So the effect
Go on, sorry. Yep.
the effect should be 6 because the target number was 10, not 8.
The target number was 10.
Right, and you rolled a 16, so the effect should be a
What's the
6,
target number 10?
which means that
21
should be that should be 21. It's splitting hairs, but did it prompt you for the target number?
No. I got modifier, and then I just press submit.
Okay, so then you know what we've got to do then is I've got to make sure I factor in the dodge. It technically is a dice modifier, so it'd be -2.
Okay.
Or
Got
the
you.
diving for cover is a -2, so I'll just make sure we do
At least
that. And then
that's fun then, but should we just see if it happens for anyone else?
no, if it does. Oh, you mean prompting for the modifier?
Yeah, it might be just me. Maybe I messed it up.
Honestly, it's my fuck up because everything in it it's always the way they calculate combat in the rules is it's an 8, and then everything is a dice modifier.
Yeah.
So
Right,
it's not like different target ranges. So that's my fault for not incorporating that. But that's amazing that it does it automatically. All right, so then you fire. And I need to know what this is. There any AP with a Gauss rifle?
There is. Gauss rifle's got AP. Is it 3 or something? It's AP
I'm just going in.
is 5 actually. AP 5.
So I'll make a suggestion here for just for everyone, because knowing this, that we have to do this in some other games as well, where they don't display the full things. If you want to put in brackets after the weapon name what all the traits are, then it'll always display whenever we make an attack with it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do that in. There's like a couple other games that don't display all the important bits of the rules, because. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so it is AP 3, which means
5.
AP 5. Okay, then 3, sir. 3. It is. Yeah. One of them is down.
Yeah, I hope so.
Wow. So then we'll go to the top of the round.
Maybe it was the head. Perhaps there was a spattering.
Yeah. With that good of a roll, that definitely could hit a target location. So top of the round, what you guys can picture is screams are coming out. The Gauss rifle, no doubt, has a very particular report when it is fired, and I think that everybody would know that this is weapons grade military gear. Weapons grade military gear is probably military grade weapons that are being fired here, not just a dispute between gangs. So everybody is screaming as their free reaction for this. Anchor, you were up first. What are you doing? And you can picture very much like what the illustration has, plenty of places to dive for cover and whatnot. The way cover works in the game is a -2 to the targets, to people firing at you. If you spend like the way we're going to abstract it is if you spend your minor action taking cover, then that's just going to give -2 to them. That's you ducking up and being able to take an action.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So
yeah, how close is Tealatoril? Or has he got his own thing?
Tealatoril is with his allies. The way we're going to handle this combat, the people you see on the screen here are not everybody. It's who is within range of you dealing with. We're going to assume everybody else is dealing with that.
Okay,
However,
so we
this
don't really
goes.
Yeah, we don't have to worry. I was gonna, if he's nearby, then we can pull him.
But here's
pull
a
him
good
for
point,
cover.
though.
But
Carl, what you see is that it seems like his retinue, they're pretty heavily armed for this. So like a lot of them are getting weapons out and are returning fire with the 20 or 25 other guys who are trying to ambush him. So it seems like this was anticipated by them.
okay.
So what would you like to do?
He's gonna move for cover and take a shot at one of these guys.
Go right ahead. They are likewise going to die for cover. So it'll be -2 to your attack, but +1 because what weapon are you using?
The Gauss rifle.
It's short range as well, so +1. And do you have any targeting gear?
No, so it's -1 on
-1 net, yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Wow. Nice.
All right. So that is likewise a hit. And that is...
Yeah, because I would say because, like the crowd, so we're going to...
you keep it to a single shot?
Single shot.
You got it.
The crowd disperses well, then,
Yeah. Wow, another one goes down in spite of going for cover.
I put AP5 on there, so good.
That's exactly what's... Yeah. I can't remember, like Starfighter doesn't do it.
I'll put auto AP5 because they're auto, just in case we need to...
Any traits...
I will look up auto.
They don't have a lot of... Traveler isn't burdened by a lot of different, things and whatnot, so it should fit nicely in like a single line. And that way we've got it all at hand right away. All right, awesome. So then you dove for cover and you shot and you're good to go. Captain Ganny, what are you doing?
Now, correct if I'm wrong. I'm auto 6, which if these guys are within 6 meters of each other, I can shoot 6 times into them.
If you... Let's see here. Let's take a look.
If I go on full auto.
So... Auto... Here we go. Auto 6 means...
That's page 79.
Full auto.
Yep.
You can make a number of attacks equal to the auto. These attacks can be made against separate targets so long as they're within 6 meters of one another. They aren't because they would have been really spread out in here. So
okay.
I think at best you could maybe hit 2 of them for now. But these are like trained, mercenaries, so they're cognizant of that. I will give you a caution. Snake Eyes means you hit a civilian.
Okay, I'll just use burst then.
Okay. Burst ditto. Snake Eyes means you hit a civilian.
Understood.
Yeah.
Until they hopefully they
clear out. Yeah. Like
clear out, right? They might clear out.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on, let's see. Does the screen have material strength thing on it? I wonder. It's curious. Oh no, it is bonus protection. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the thing is with the AP5, like, you guys are ignoring, like, someone behind a tree trunk would have no protection against the Gauss rifle. Someone behind a stone wall is going to have 3 points of armor. So it's. I've heard someone describe it before, like the heavy machine guns that were used in Vietnam by the American troops. They're like, picture yourself in the middle of a downtown. Now picture looking around that downtown. Nothing you see can stop that bullet. And that is very much the Gauss rifle. So anyway, that's only on Snake Eyes, so.
I'll just fire a single shot.
Yeah, like you have seen how effective these things are against the other two, but by all means.
Yeah, I've usually let's give it a go.
Okay.
I'll just do regular.
Is it the mag rail you've got, Canny?
Yep. So I'll aim and.
Nice. So again, with the mag rifle, can you please make sure to add make sure you add in the description of the weapon in brackets whatever the actual traits are of the weapon.
Yeah.
Because it otherwise will not display it.
Sure.
Yeah, another one. Wow. Down.
There's no 0 armor piercing, by the way, on this.
Even with 18 is more than enough to to take them out. They unfortunately could not wear a lot of stuff, and I think the ubiquity of trench coats may have tipped their hand to you. Now, you've gone for cover as well, Captain Gani? Is that what your interaction was? Okay.
Please.
All right. Dr. Elias.
I think Dr. Elias will follow suit and dive for cover and then try and shoot someone.
You got it. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So what is your
-2
weapon? Are you using a Gauss pistol?
Gauss pistol,
What's the range of the Gauss pistol?
20. I assume that's meters?
20 meters, yeah.
20
so
meters.
then so you're not getting the short range bonus for that because it's a quarter of the range is short range.
Gotcha. So -2.
-2 for their cover. That's right. But you could spend your Oh no!
It's only 1-1. It's only 1-1.
It's only 1-1. I love the idea of Dr. Abdel being like, guys, I don't want to brag, but I'm a pretty good shot with. Oh shit!
Yeah. But I think this is not his natural milieu. So he's definitely his hands are shaking and his companion that is not used to this. So
absolutely, and Dane could tell you what it's like.
Wild.
Once you come under fire, it's a very different situation than when you are, So you duck for cover and you fire. It goes wild, but does not hit anybody. Friend or foe. All right, then we have our mercs here. Okay. I will also allow, guys, you can spend luck to modify the results of my dice. So that will impact you later in the session, but at the very least in combat, that might give you an opportunity to try and survive what might otherwise be a lethal shot. So, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One of them, let's see here. Who is, do you think, closest? I imagine you guys are clustered relatively together in maybe groups of 2. Who is next to who within 9 meters? Do you think?
It's probably like Anchor and Dr. Ilias and Gani and Dane, right? So.
Okay.
Yep.
Anchor, Dr. Lewis, and Gani and Dane. Okay, got it. All right, so then why
that
doesn't...
that seems reasonable to me.
Yep. Let's
Gani
have...
and Dane up ahead, and then...
Dane and Anchor each give us a D6 roll, please. Higher wins.
Yeah. We so just tactically, we had 2 that were behind us, and there was a whole series in front of us, effectively. Is that right?
For the enemies?
Yeah.
They're everywhere, as far as you can tell.
Okay. All right.
I rolled a 1, so I guess we're getting their grenade. Sorry.
No, the higher is the winner. You may not have seen my scare quotes. Okay, so Captain Gani and Dane, both of you have dived for cover, which is great because that way you're going to benefit from some of the protection from this. The protection you're getting is going to be... I'll give you an extra 7 protection on top of whatever your armor affords. This guy tosses They do not seem to have as much compunction against injuring civilians as you do, because someone just threw a grenade.
Wow. Okay.
And that is 5d6. I'll just roll it in chat. So this is, remember, you get an extra, what did I say, 7 armor from the whatever you're behind, or 7 protection, plus whatever your armor is. So 13 points of damage, there'll be 6 points of damage. Is that stopped by your armor?
Yeah.
Captain Ganny?
I've stopped 8.
8, okay, great. So this thing goes off, and thankfully you're wearing your armor, so that prevents that. Let's do 2 shots against everybody. Dr. Ilias, you have taken cover, so it's a 10. Okay. 1 shot goes over your head with a auto rifle, an auto pistol. Second one is a hit. So let's see here, and that is. Let's see here. The benefit of the protection for the cover, that only comes for blasts. So you don't get the extra protection against the weapon damage. This is it'll tag you as you jumped up to try and shoot.
Yeah.
That is 13 points of damage.
Take 5.
Okay. Anchor. Well, I guess I can go to Captain Ganny next. Captain Ganny, first shot does tag you. Oh. This was an auto pistol. So that is 11 points of damage.
Ooh, okay, it's a 3 then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second shot is with the automatic weapon, does not hit you. Anchor.
Yep.
The auto pistol misses you. The auto rifle misses you as well. Dane, auto pistol misses, and the auto rifle misses as well. So, you guys are undercover. You can see that Dr. Ilias and Captain Ganny have been tagged once, and they do not seem against using grenades on you guys. Dane, you're up next. Bunch of shit settles down around you from where the grenade goes off. What would you like to do?
Okay, I think for now, keep shooting. I think we need to whittle them down and see if we can affect their morale by reducing.
Yeah.
So I'll take another single shot with the Gauss rifle.
You got
That's
it.
Okay.
So it'll be -2 from them, and then +1 for range, +1 for your if you're aiming once again, or are you taking cover?
At the head-up display, it's a net +1, I think.
But are you taking cover though?
I thought I was in cover.
Oh, right, but you have to take a minor action to take cover as you're sort of ducking out and going back in. If you don't, because taking cover technically in the game is a reaction, and the reaction imposes -1 on your next action for each reaction that you take.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, unfortunately, the game doesn't really treat cover the way that every other game does, where you just get a certain penalty to fire.
Right, that's fine. So I think that's 0 in terms of the bonuses.
Yeah, without the aim, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I got +3 for my bonuses.
Okay.
And okay, I'll just do that.
+3 for your bonuses from, because +1 for your targeting area, +1 from short range, and then your minor action can be spent taking cover, or well, actually, you can aim this round, get the +3, and then you could take take cover next round as a reaction, and take -1 to the next penalty.
Yeah. I will absolutely do that. Let's see what that does. So I think the modifier is +1 to this round.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see what we get.
Come on. Solid hit.
21.
Oof. Oh, as a reminder...
That didn't come through. I thought I'd updated that. Apologies.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe you didn't hit enter?
It's not the inventory. It's in the combat.
Okay, so that is another one is down. Next up is Anchor.
So what are the crowd all taking cover, or how does that? How, are they?
The crowd is mostly gone now. I think you guys can feel free to open up if you'd like.
I'm going to open up.
Okay.
No. So it's 8. It's auto 3 AP. So I can fire 3 times. Is that what that means?
That is right. Yeah.
So take cover again and open fire.
Okay.
So it's a -1 on 3 shots, right?
Why is it -1?
Taking cover.
Oh, taking cover. Yeah, right.
Are they undercover? Oh, I guess are they undercover?
They're undercover as well too. Yeah, I factored in for their bonuses for them. Constant.
Okay. Yeah. So then it says Gauss will have the scope, but I think you only get the benefit if you aim, right? So.
Yes.
And you can only do 1 significant and 1 minor. So
that's right. You could take them like the reaction. Both dodging and taking cover are reactions, technically, which would give you a -1. But you can also take them as minor actions to impose the penalty for them to make yourself a hard target.
Yeah, in fact, it's not clear. It's got
so
two
yeah. So you're saying that I could aim, get the +1.
Yep.
And then save. And take the -1 now for the reaction to die for cover.
Yeah, technically. So like what I should have done last round
is that'd be no modifier.
Yeah, because each reaction you take is a -1. So if there are 2 of them firing at you, you would have taken a net of -2 to your next action. But we'll do that on next round.
Okay, so no modifier then if I'm aiming. With the but you can't aim with the auto, can you? No, I don't think so. All right, I'll do -1.
Okay, so we -1 because of short range and they're going to cover
3 shots. That's the first one.
Okay, hit.
That guy. If that guy is, I'm just going to take 3 different people.
AP5. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hit.
Yeah.
And it's still a hit.
That is still a hit.
Hits.
Yeah. And 18. Okay. So Anchor gets up and unloads Captain Ganny.
The price. That's what I imagine the Gauss.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. What we were saying is with auto, they need to be within 2 of each other, so you're only going to be able to hit 2 of them.
2.
Yeah, at a time.
Okay.
But
that's fine.
Okay. Captain Ganny.
So then that uses up, 9 rounds then? Yep.
For the Ghost Rifle?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 9 rounds. Okay.
I'll fire burst onto one of them.
Go ahead. So that gives you the bonus to hit? Auto
no,
damage.
that just means I do extra damage.
Damage, okay.
Yeah.
So I am, -1 for popping out from cover, +1 for range?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so basically nada. Come on, a good roll, please. Oh,
That
8.
is a miss. Right? No, that's a hit. That's a hit because it's 8. Yeah. But 21. Does that include your burst damage or not?
Oh, no, it doesn't. It's missing.
Paste.
6. Is it 8?
Hang on. Yes, so it's 27 then.
Yeah. Okay, so that you and another one is down. Dr. Ilias?
Ilias will stay in cover or dodge for cover again and try and take one of them out.
Go ahead. So that would be -2 total.
No, this is just not his.
That's okay.
You look over at Dane. Dane's like, harder than it looks, right?
Yeah, a lot harder.
Really well. You're doing really well.
All right.
Stay down.
Guns, explosions
Stay
are going
down,
off.
Dr.
You're
Ilias,
doing
stay
really
down.
well.
Stay behind cover.
Okay, so then
we can't lose the best medic in the system.
Captain Ganny and Dane. Another grenade down to Jack Dice. Another grenade lands. You guys still have that 7 extra protection. Oh. So that'll be 14 damage.
Ooh.
But you get to apply your full. There's no AP on that.
Okay. 14, so that's 6. Ooh, 9, so that's going to be me down with... And my endurance is now gone.
Okay. So when you...
I think you only fall unconscious if also RP
down.
so
Yeah, 2 of them go.
down.
Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah.
So you're still fighting. You can apply that to either your strength or your dexterity.
Yeah, they're the same. So.
Okay. And then we have 4 left. Let's have each of them fire on each of you guys once. Captain Ganny, we'll start with you. That is a miss. Dr. Ilias, that is a miss. Anchor, a miss. And Dane, a miss. So you guys are taking fire, but nothing is connecting. Dane, you're up next. What are you doing?
I just think it's working. So I think rather than do anything really clever, I think we just need to whittle them down. I'm sorry, it's a bit boring.
Captain Ganny spits up blood. We're winning!
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dane. What are you doing? You can target two of them with auto fire if you'd like.
Okay, in which case I will flip the switch.
Yeah.
And I'm going to forego. Do I forego the cover?
I think technically rules is written you need to have a trench coat on if you want to slow-mo walk from cover and then walk towards them while firing.
Well, I want to actually sort of run up the wall on the side and
exactly. Cue the Chemical Brothers auto or not Chemical. Who is it? The propeller heads.
Are they still launching grenades?
It's the guy on the far right who keeps throwing grenades.
I'll try and hopefully can I take him out, or is he is he close to anyone else?
Yeah, I think all of them will be at least two, because we're abstracting this.
Okay,
you can hit any given two are probably close enough to each other.
So, correctly or incorrectly, I'm going to forgo cover to get maximum bonus.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for the aim. I'm going to go for the head-up display. Oh, it's auto. The head-up display does work with auto.
Okay.
So
yeah, my scope doesn't, but the heads-up.
Sure. But I can't do the aim, I don't think.
I don't think so. Or at least aim is against one target, maybe? Let's take a look here.
Maybe. Well, it's two, and they're at -2, so I think I'm on zip for that.
You get +1 on your next range attack. Let's go to the last sentence. There's nothing about it not being used in auto fire. Okay. So unless the auto fire says you can't aim.
Maybe.
If you go full auto, you can't aim. You can burst, but you can't.
Where does it say that, though?
It's on page. It's at the bottom. A weapon cannot use the auto trait in the same as the scope trait. It's the
or the aiming action. God, okay, didn't capitalize it. Last sentence. Okay. C7 rule strikes again. Then
so, 3 times against 2 targets.
Yep.
Let's just see how we do. So that's the first one. Takes.
Oh, okay. He actually so grenade guy actually survives that.
Yeah,
hold on, no. AP5?
6.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, AP5. That's the first one. The second one.
Yeah.
0 modifier. Takes 20. And actually, both of them, because I can only cluster 2, can't I?
Yeah.
So I've got 3 bursts, but yeah, they just evaporate.
Okay. Hey, maybe you're hitting the grenade guy as he's on the ground still.
Yeah.
All right. Then, Anchor, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think Anchor is going to do the same tactic. There's only 3 left.
Yep.
Doesn't look like we took care of grenades. And then Ghani, I don't want Captain Ghani to get shot again. He looks pretty messed up. So, and I got the trench coat.
Medic!
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to, walk slowly, try to take out these 2 guys. And then Dane and I are targets. The most heavily armored guys are targets.
Yeah.
But then that's going to be, I can't aim, but I don't take the -1. So it's at 3 shots at.
It would be
no
minus,
modifier.
the total for you would be -1. Because it's short range, you're not aiming.
+1.
Because moving is a minor action as well.
Gotcha.
And the, what do you call it? They're on cover still, so.
Yeah, gotcha.
But that is enough to paste 1.
Okay. And the second guy, -1.
Here we go.
Ooh.
And whoa, he's on the gun. Do you fire 3 times or 2 times?
Well, I can fire 3 times if I want to. If I can fire that last one.
Yeah, if you want to finish him off, go right ahead.
Burst. Yeah, take him out.
Mm-hmm. Also a -1. There we go.
Nice.
Oh no, it's a 5 though.
That's a miss.
Okay, that's okay. It's not a crit fail. It went wild. He's he's actually not dead. He's just at sputtering out and on the ground at 0.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So he can't take any action. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Then
maybe we got a prisoner.
Well, I mean, technically he hasn't lost. I'm sort of using minion rules on this. I'm not bothering to track through to other stuff. He's at 0 whatever, but he still has strength or whatever else. Once you get to -1, that's when he's officially dead. You hit him with just enough to ring his bell, but not actually kill him.
Oh, so he could like crawl away or run away or something.
Or throw a
Potentially.
grenade.
Or
So, Captain Ganny, what are you doing?
Ow.
So Captain Ganny is spending a minor action to whinge.
That's right. Captain.
It's a little Scott's content there for you, James. Sorry.
Go. I may as well stick my head out and I'll fire 3 at one and 3 at the other.
Okay. Have you?
Screw it. Let's put 18 rounds down range.
Nice. Go right ahead. So it'll be a net of -1, I think, to your rolls.
-1. Okay, so let's.
Thank you, everyone, for
it.
filling out your weapons too. Everything's displaying properly now.
helps.
Really appreciate that.
So, first of 3 on the first guy.
So the last remaining guy is likewise paced.
Well, so I'll hit him a few more times, but then I'll go to the next guy. -1.
How lucky. If this guy ends up being really lucky.
Oh, only one. So
missed.
that goes wild as you're tracking down. Go for your third shot.
Second shot for this guy. I'm firing 3 at each.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed him with that.
You want to spend 1 luck?
I'd spend the luck.
I'll just fire again.
Oh, yeah, you got 6 shots. Right.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, so yeah, he is. There is nothing. Well, I mean, I think it's identifiable as organic at this point, but there's very little left to identify these as people. So,
Well, I think assassins have no stopping power against the mag rail rifle.
very little. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So as you guys, I think Anchor and Dane, you maybe stalk forward, and are taking.
Well, no, I go straight for Tila Tora, so I make sure he's okay and not.
I'll watch
Yeah.
Dane's back. I'll watch Dane's back as he's checking to the front and see what's going on.
So what you guys
Making
find
sure.
is, did you guys arm Ultima 1? I don't
Well,
even.
he
We
can
didn't
have
talk
a
about
mag
this.
rifle if he wants.
Didn't consciously do that, but he is a crew member.
Yeah, I think maybe a firearm is maybe what he has brought, like a firearm, a pistol. Forgive me, or a handgun, right? Because I don't think he would be, in his elaborate disguise, also carrying a rifle. At best, if there's a pistol that's to spare, he's got that.
Yeah. I mean, I have. Yeah, that's probably.
Okay,
reasonable.
so let's do this. Dane, would you give us a tactics roll? Let's use this to determine how the how badly affected Tila Toral's group were by this attack.
It's all on you, Dane. Oh no.
Fucking hell! That's another. Can I have a couple of points of luck?
2 points of luck is all you need for that.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so there are some bells rung. There are some folks who are, suffered some minor injuries for it. But to truth told, I think it seems like the worst injured person is Captain Ganny right now. So, Tila Toral's allies are saying, like, they are sort of doing the same thing that you guys are doing to make sure that all the hostiles have been, taken down. Yeah. And curiously, in the immediate aftermath of that, as the silence goes over, you can hear the sound of booted feet coming in. And what you see is there is a mix of humans and Aslan, but more Aslan than humans, who come in wearing the same uniforms you saw for what passes for station security. So it seems like the Aslan have a pretty substantial presence in the station security here. They walk over to Tila Toral's group, and there's a bit of back and forth in Aslan to what's going on, and they give them the go-ahead to sort of like, okay, go. And Tila Toral turns to you all and says, they're letting us leave. We have a place we have an enclave. And she gestures at you, Captain Ganny. We could treat you there.
That would be nice.
Let's go.
Help Captain Ganny up.
Okay. So let's talk, because we've so rarely had to have people shot. What is the impact of, here we go, damage? So your endurance will be at 0 right now, and then...
My strength's at 5.
Strength's at 5. Okay. So healing. If you want to do first aid within 1 minute of the injury, Doctor, you can do that.
Yep.
So use a medic check, and the effect is what is restored to the damaged physical characteristics. Wow. So it's 5 points.
Woohoo!
Do you have any bonuses from your gear?
Yeah, that includes my +2 class modifier for my med kit.
Amazing. So, Captain Gani, you can restore 5 points among your injured characteristics. I think it's your choice, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll first
Yeah, it's divided, yeah.
Yeah.
I get strength back up, and then my endurance is back to 5.
Nice. All right. Then you guys are followed through for the rest of the, or you're led through the rest of the station. It seems like the station security is taking, are trying to take control of the situation and like deal with the bodies and whatever else. Anchor and Dane, you guys are the ones who seem to have taken charge of like security sort of on your end. Do you guys just want to leave them to do that and accompany everyone else with Teletoro's people, or do you wish to do something else? Or anything else?
Anchor's so tempted because he's so into conspiracy and stuff. I want to know where these people come from and, all that kind of stuff. But what do you think? Should we see if they let us listen and process the scene, or?
Yeah, I suppose Dave might be thinking something along the lines of, the most important thing is that we can't assume that this is real. We need to ensure that Teletora does actually get to safety. So we need to secure the asset.
Okay.
But I think there's got to be some time but particularly for yourself and your skills to work out what the hell is going on here. But for now, let's get him to the enclave and get him safe, and we'll make sure we provide security detail for that.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's any chance, I could try to. If there's any IDs or anything like that, I can try to quickly grab before.
Then
I'll grab something.
Sure, Anchor.
From these guys and go.
Why don't you give us what? I think it's recon. Investigate. Why don't you give us an investigate check with? I actually think Dex as a modifier, because you're trying to like quickly grab shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, or like view things, and we'll let you roll that with advantage because Dane is sort of. I think he's with you and is at least looking down at things. He might spot something as well.
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't.
Nice.
I put boon, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. Okay. That's fine.
Oh, which will give us a d6, maybe, because if you roll a 5 or a 6, you're going to get a little extra effect on that too.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I put bin boon. I don't know why I didn't.
Boy,
Okay, that's weird.
I really love the weapon displays on the sheet now. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're like, oh, it never calculates effect. No, it does. That's nice, and it gives you the effect, which is cool. So then, yeah, if you, all right,
Yeah. Okay, so Dane and Anchor, as Anchor's kind of grabbing stuff to look at things, I think you throw open the on at least 2 of them. When you throw open their kind of coat and you're grabbing some, maybe their comm unit or whatever, what you can see, Anchor and Dane, is 2 of them who are kind of dead around the same area. Both of them have the little bits of a regimental tattoo on their neck that seems to start here and then kind of go underneath. Both of these are likely ex-military. From the fading of the tattoo and the scarring that one of them has on top of it, it makes you think that these are very old tattoos, Anchor. So these are likely people who served in some military unit, whether it's a mercenary or not, who have found themselves into mercenary work now.
okay.
They actually might be Imperial markings, for that matter, Dane. Like they may be ground pounders who served with the the Imperial Army in some capacity, and now found themselves working as mercs in the. Because I'm trying to think of what other major military unit, apart from like that one really big mercenary thing, is probably the Imperial military that gives you a go-to pass into any mercenary.
I don't think it's particularly uncommon.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
On the upside, it does seem like they have some openings now, Dane. So if you're... All right. So as you guys are making your way back to Teotoral's People's Enclave, is there any chatter between any of you guys as you're going along? Or Teotoral's people seem to be happy to, at first, they're a little reluctant when the... Vargar and the human come over with guns, and Teotoral quickly says something to them in Aslan, and they do sort of a double take back and forth, and then immediately treat you as a trusted part of the security. Okay. So the lot of you make your way back to there. Anything you guys want to chat about before you reach there, either privately or with Teotoral's people?
Quick question: can I do first aid on myself?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, then I would have done that.
Okay.
And I'll ask Dane, how much was that armor that you've got?
It was a lot.
Well, you took a bad hit from the grenade, so it may very well be a matter of like, how much is that armor you're wearing? So
yeah, the drugs are kicking in.
Yeah. All right. So I don't think you're prevented from doing it. And there's not a penalty for self-administering, I don't think, in this game. So, and I've read the whole paragraph this time. So go ahead. Was that your second roll there, Doctor?
That was the second roll, yeah. I just wasn't sure if it had any...
Absolutely. Yeah. So 7 back on yourself. I think Dane also, if you notice, Dane's actually taken a bit of a hit. Oh, wait, did you take any damage from that second grenade?
Nope.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Advanced polycarbon. It's the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a trench coat.
Or a trench coat.
Turns the collar up on the trench coat.
A trench coat over advanced.
or just don't get shot.
Yeah.
We're getting into the proverbial, dinosaur on a shark, territory right now. So, anything else that you guys wish to do before you reach the Aslan, kind of enclave here? I will tell you that the overall impression. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dane.
No, it's all right. I was going to say, I think absolutely focus is good to get him safe.
Yep.
Okay, so the impression that you get of this place, where Gibraltar Station was a very lived-in kind of place, this place is the space station equivalent of a shanty town. Like, there is stuff built up where they're just building structures in hallways that now serve as businesses. There's things that you can see that have collapsed or have shut down or don't seem to be in operation. It is very much the Wild West in here, where the overall superstructure that has been turned over to public in the world has been sort of repurposed without any direct guiding, authority necessarily. But when you reach the Aslan quarter, in keeping with that, it very much has a Aslan kind of aesthetic to everything that's been built up here. Lots of natural, as much as can be. There's some natural materials. There's a smell of Aslan spices that kind of fills the air in here, and we're gonna find what else awaits you there. After our mid-session break, we've already shot our way through to the mid-session break. So, for those listening, we did start a half hour late too. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll see what happens next.
Have you guys played or run Coriolis?
I've run it.
Do you run like just one shots or like a mini campaign or the whole thing?
It was like a mini campaign. We started off with, I think it's the Kickstarter, the one about the glacier shipping, the ice shipping ship that got sort of derailed, which I think is the quick start adventure. Then sort of the players enjoyed it enough that we then sort of had a bit of a follow-up campaign.
Yeah, the quick start I did was the one with the growth, the flowers and stuff.
Oh no, because that wasn't the quick start. It was one of the official like published sort of adventures.
Okay. That wasn't the last Voyage of the Ghazi.
No, I did use parts of that for one of the. Sort of
I know what adventure
mishaps.
you're talking about because I remember seeing that adventure, but I can't remember where that's from. I don't know if it's in the one in the book. Is it the adventure in the book?
No, I think it was.
No, the adventure in the book is some job on a Coriolis station.
Yeah.
But I know seeing that one. Maybe it's Aram's secret or something. I don't. That's cool.
Now, my players asked for it to be one of their 3 games I should run.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
But
Which
I'm not
game's
sure
that?
when we'll ever get to that. Coriolis.
Oh, cool.
But I think TNCR and most of all Fallout will kind of get in the way of that.
Nice. I'm waiting for my GM screen for Fallout to show up this week.
Yeah, and if I could ask everyone to not bring up any other games for the next 6 months, because I just bought Fallout and now I need to stop. I've got to stop buying games until October.
Well, as long as Cubicle 7 doesn't release another 40k game, I think we're good. For the foreseeable future, at least.
I did back at the lowest level the laundry, though. The Cubicle 7, the laundry. It looked interesting, but...
You know, I backed it not on the strength of the setting or the whatever, but on Graham and Darren and Colin and I played like a 3-part Soulbound adventure over Christmas and then into the new year, and it has the same mechanic, like the game mechanics are the same in the laundry as that. I really, really enjoyed that adventure, so I have backed it on that. I didn't even think, like after running it, it's great, and like the mechanics work really well for the particular game. I didn't think for a second that like, oh, this is a core mechanic that could be used in other settings too. So I'm really interested to see what they've done with them.
Sure, they'll do a good job.
Oh, 100%. Cubicle 7s. I still, you know what, I was talking, I can't remember if it was in general or it was Graham and I that were talking about like or maybe it was you, not James, but Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a Cubicle 7 game as well too, and I like when I initially read the second edition of it, I was really, really impressed. It's got some really neat ideas for how to handle XP and tying it to advancement, or like to XP and tying it to in-game actions in a way similar to the way that Star Trek Adventures First Edition did, but pre-Klingon stuff, but in a more meaningful way that actually feeds back into game mechanics. So it looks really, really interesting. It's just that, you know, there's the perennial question, like, well, who plays the Doctor then? So,
Yeah.
where that game, that's one where it's
plays the
trickier to...
captain?
Was that?
Who plays the captain?
Well,
That's
even more
no
so in this
problem
one,
with
like I feel like that game more so than the others, and I could be completely wrong, and I'm sure you could run a great game without it, but that game feels like you need to tie the IP to the main character, because otherwise, like, if you're playing a Doctor Who game, like, do you really want to fight Daleks that badly? Or, you know, is there some other aspect of the Doctor Who setting that you really want to be engaging in? It's not like Star
Doctor
Wars
Who
where you
without a doctor is pointless.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we are back. I will say too, Walt, I'll double check the cover rules afterwards, but like I read them just before the session, and I didn't think I got, from what I could tell, like there isn't any, like there's the protection you get. David, do you have something?
Yeah, I think as written, they're reaction, but you forgo all actions next round if you die for actual cover.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then parrying and dodging have the -1 per each. time you do it.
But does the in cover status stay once you've done the diving? Because there's a later section on cover.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it sort of says anything about how long the cover lasts for.
Right.
Yeah, so a traveler using cover to shield themselves
76.
while 77 says a traveler using cover to shield themselves while engaging in combat inflicts -2 against all range attacks made against them. So maybe it does persist.
Possibly.
That you've got,
you've got cover on page 77. Oh, you've got 77. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And on 76 it says,
Yeah.
however, a traveler diving for cover will forgo their next actions completely.
Got it.
Maybe it's the process of diving into cover that you need to do to then get a perpetuated. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I think I've folded forward something I read in Cepheus, one of the versions of Cepheus, where it's just a flat -2 that you give as a penalty instead of the dice modifier, your dex, your athletics dex modifier or whatever. So I have made an absolute hash of it. But none of you guys are dead, so I guess it all comes out. So with that in mind, you know what it is? I've also probably have Shadowrun in my head, because if that's an actual ducking up from cover and going back in is a minor action in that. So I think you get a -2 from cover once you've taken cover, and I'll rule it's a minor action to take cover. Because that's movement as well, right?
Yeah.
And then diving for cover is getting the immediate benefit of either or both of the penalty to the range attack penalty, or the extra protection that it gives you by being behind the cover the way you guys were.
Yeah.
Okay. And as far as the dodging, do you guys want to be using the dex modifier or the athletics modifier, or do you want to use a flat -2? I'm at your discretion on this. -2 I think is easier to remember, but for those of you who have trained in athletics and are spending XP in it, I don't want to penalize you if you got a better net modifier for that.
I've done that. I've trained athletics, but it's hard if you think about it. If it's just purely the athletics skill, then 2 is generous. If it's the athletics skill plus dex DM, I'd be on a 3. 2 is pretty generous. It's, skill level 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it is the skill, because otherwise the sentence reads their dex DM or athletics dexterity, whichever is higher.
It's very hard to get.
Dexterity is a speciality of athletics, as well as being
that's
a core
why.
ability.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Clever naming a specialty after the stat. I joked yesterday about naming all the clone troopers as after one of the skills in Fantasy Flight to make it extra confusing for me. Okay, so then why don't we... say it's got a rock bottom of -1. So if you're taking the minor action to dodge, you're going to get a -1 regardless of how terrible your dex is or how unskilled you are in athletics. If you have an athletics skill and or a specialty in dexterity, you get to replace that to give you the benefit, Dane. So because your character is more nimble and more kind of combat oriented, that'll give you the benefit of that without making it useless for anyone who doesn't have a dex modifier.
Yeah.
How does that sound, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, sounds all right.
Yes, that's good.
Kent?
Because I can see a lot of people otherwise raw would have no point of dodging.
Yeah.
They'd have no athletics and no dex modifier, so dodging does squat.
Yeah. And I get there's a logical explanation for why that might be the case. Game mechanic wise, I don't think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for diving for cover, the benefit from that is if you're diving for cover when you don't have cover, that gives the -2. And I think you can stack those two as well, guys. What the dodging and the cover will be is if you're behind cover and you're getting the -2 penalty, what the dodging there's a -1 to your actions next round anyway, and that reflects you ducking out of cover and firing and ducking back in. So in Dane's case, if you've got a 3 as your athletics or athletics dexterity, you could in theory impose a -4, right? No, -6. Okay. No, that's not right. Because it's -3 from the dodging, -2, -5, -5. Do you have a 3 or a 2 in athletics?
-5 is quite big in the game.
Right, but it's also reflected that you're taking a -1 to your attacks.
Okay.
Right, because you're ducking in, and then if more than one person is firing at you, each person you're dodging against gives a stacking -1. So it's trading off the chance of getting tagged with you also taking the commensurate penalty to yours.
Yeah.
So like in this last combat, if you guys were dodging against 2 different, or not dodging, you were behind cover.
Yeah.
Cover. Yeah. What is your athletics score? Is it a 2 or a 3?
Skill is 2.
Oh, 2. Okay, so it's only -2, so that'd be a net -4 if you're taking the -1 penalty, if you're taking a reaction to dodge behind cover as well.
Right.
But that would cut both ways as well. Is giving if your adversaries are dodging as well, that would give them, and they're behind cover, it would give them a -3 to be hit.
Right.
So I think it'll work out. All right, so we've sorted out that stuff. Okay, then, and one thing that, because I like this rule from what do you call it, from Wrath and Glory, if you're choosing to shoot through cover, if you can see the target and you're wanting to shoot through it to grant them the cover, we'll just ignore the -2 penalty, because there's a lot of weapons that you guys have that will be able to do that, to shoot through doors, shoot through cover. If you're doing that, you just don't take the -2 cover penalty. So, and that will cut both ways as well. All right, so then, as you guys are arriving at the Enclave with Tealatoral's aides, he is definitely sort of fading in with the rest of them. As you guys get here, and also Dane and Anchor, you would notice that there does seem to be people who are keeping watch as they're coming in as well. They seem to be mindful of the fact that there may be more danger ahead. So, what do you guys do as you arrive here? Guys, not all at once. Hold on.
I secure the area. He says it's an enclave. Is it really? He doesn't know.
Okay.
He's not been here before, so I would be scanning the area for anything, looking for bugs, booby traps, sniper points, anything. I just absolute full security suite, probably military tactics or something, just to sort of be reassured myself that what I'm being told is a safe area really is. That's kind of what I will probably go off and do. That's probably my action or something.
Okay, so why don't you give us a recon check, please?
Sure.
And then Anchor and Dr. Ilias and Captain Gani, what are you guys doing?
I can't roll a single skill.
No. I think Anchor's going to check on the captain and make sure he's all right.
I will whinge. Ow.
And then, He's
maybe, how are we doing for luck?
We have 10 left.
I'd use it.
2 luck, Dane?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I think it's important to try and secure it and just make sure. I mean, it might not be needed, but that's just...
Okay. So you've got... Yeah, as far as you can tell, they've done a pretty decent job of keeping this place wholly separate and apart from the rest. So there are, like maybe 2 controlled entrances from here. And it seems like any other kind of, ductwork or whatever else seems to likewise have been secured. So as far as you can tell, they've got this place reasonably secured as much as it can be.
Okay.
The look you've got, too, is... you're seeing more of the people in the community here and there's only a community of about maybe 30 or 40 Aslan. You can see that they are wearing the... So a couple of them have the same kind of overalls that the station security was wearing. So it does seem that a number of members of Tealatoral's community are serving in a, what do you call it, a security capacity on the station, which is not surprising. The owners, like the people who run the world, you know, they're not really interested in dealing with or interfering with other visitors that are here. So if they can subcontract that work out to other people, that's probably a good thing. You also see that there are recurring symbols of a specific... you would guess it's the heraldic markings of the Aslan house, of Tealatoral's clan. Because all these people who are here all seem to be members of the exact same clan.
Right.
What is everyone else doing? Captain Ganny is whinging.
I think Dr. Elias is quite shook up from having been in his first firefight, so he will focus. He'll be fussing over Captain Ganny and anyone else who might be injured, and just focusing, sort of compartmentalizing, focusing on treating any injuries, because that's something he knows and can do, and it'll distract him from the whole having been in a firefight and seeing so much death.
Yeah. I can't remember what film is it. I've never had to kill someone before. I'm pretty sure you haven't done so far either, son. Oh, that's Firefly.
I feel like the line was similarly in Unforgiven, but
yeah. So
yeah, I mean, probably time to. I mean, I don't know how you have to clean these guns after you use them. We haven't used them for a while. Sit down and just do some busy work, really, but
yeah,
to pass the time.
Okay.
Clean the guns.
So,
hang out with Ghani.
So then, what you find is that a female Aslan kind of comes over to where Dr. Ilias and Captain Ganny are positioned in the like, it's not really, it's sort of like, imagine if you tried to make one building out of a series of connecting corridors. There's different, what would pass for different rooms and stuff like that have been built up in here. Tealatoral seems to be spending a great deal of time with the other Aslan, and Ultima One will come over to you guys, and he will say, Captain Ganny, you were injured in the confrontation.
A little scratch, but the good doctor has patched me back together again.
Good. No one suffered any permanent injuries?
Looks like we got lucky.
Fortunately not.
I would say good planning certainly prevailed in that circumstance. I assume it was Tealatoral's clan's enemies who set these mercenaries or would-be assassins on us.
That would be a reasonable assumption.
So maybe Dana's just come back from searching on, gun over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So he says it seemed quite extreme a reaction.
Came in mob-handed.
Not particularly well armed, though.
My question would be, and maybe Dane or others who are more familiar with sort of Aslan politics, if the point were these enemies of the clan, so if surely the clan's enemies would want him to go back and be dishonored and sort of, or would that, what would play more into their hands? Having him die here in a firefight, or?
Exactly. And what that tells us is that his status of being dishonorable is severely in question. And that my interpretation is that there are others who know that he could actually expose them as part of this. And they do not want him to get to a position with that. And so they want to stop him getting through because they're going to be exposed, or could be. It tells me it's more complicated than, war criminal returns to be humiliated. I think it feels more nuanced than that.
That's a correct, assessment. I think what you would also notice from your recent studies, Dane, is like if Tila Toril returns as a unsuccessful, would-be Ihate invader, that's dishonorable, but his returning and facing the music, as it were, restores some measure of honor to the clan.
Got you. Okay.
Him returning with proof that he was not betrayed not only restores honor to the clan, but also restores a measure of his honor.
Yeah.
So either way, you're absolutely right. Like, this is a matter, somebody seems to not want him there, whether it's personal against him or whether it's against the clan in general. He must have, like, if it was personal, they would have... This is an enormous amount of money to be expending, because, Dane, you would know, like, I imagine if, like, for a time you may have at least inquired about mercenary work, and, like, the work, these guys are not cheap, and that's a lot of people. There's, like, 40 soldiers that they deployed here trying to take this guy out.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of you guys running across the only rent investigators and the only mercenaries is unlikely, meaning that they probably have similar, welcoming parties at a bunch of different locations. It's an awful lot of money for a personal grudge, and much more likely that this is part of some, like, as you put it, like a intrigue between clans to prevent someone else from being weakened.
You can probably hear Dane mutter something under his breath in broken Throch.
As is custom among anyone learning a new language, it seems Dane has learned the curse words first. So, what?
Right. So, Ultima One said not well armed. So, why? I mean, must have been well paid enough to roll themselves into a meat grinder. I mean, they really did. I mean, looking at how well armed, even in comparison, even if we had not been there, Tila Toril's people are pretty heavily armed and armored, and they might have taken a loss or two, but same outcome. It was just a show. It seems like it was just a show. Is that what you think, Ultima One?
I think they underestimated the severity of the resistance that you would offer. And while Tila Toril's, don't let the modest trappings and the banal jobs or professions to deceive. Tila Toril comes from a warrior clan. These individuals working as station security, they're trained Aslan soldiers. And I think that the mercenaries may have their bigotry and may have underestimated them as simply aliens living on the station, as opposed to the disciplined army. He gestures at the Aslan. It appears that these are all childhood friends of Tila Toril. It is not uncommon among the Aslan for the house armies to be raised from within. Several of these may have been among those who were considered for inclusion of Teal Toro's invasion force. And Dane, as he's saying this, like, it definitely tracks with you. Like, there was small unit tactics that these guys were employing on Teal Toro's side. And hearing that now, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's absolutely... These are guys, who, you know, and I say guys because the Aslan are a patriarchal society. It's the men are the warriors, the women are the, you know, techs and other, you know, more cerebral-oriented tasks. The guys fell into units as if, like, I imagine you joined the military quite young as well too. Imagine having a 5-year advantage on that when they start at childhood, begin training together, and then carry on for serving together in active combat for the rest of your natural life. So, yeah, it's a small, like, in considering the defenses that they've got here now too, you're beginning to see, like, this is not only an enclave for the Aslan, this is a small encampment. So he says, however, when the results of this, or the outcome of this attempt reach whoever paid them, I expect they may adjust accordingly. It also suggests that the peril represented by Teal Toro's enemies, or more correctly, the enemies of his clan. What is the saying among Terrans? They don't mess around.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Terrans, he would say Soleimani. But and he looks over at the group. It's strange. He seems both happy and sad to be among them. And if you guys look over at Teal Toro dealing with him, it kind of feels that way too. It has the, like, the vibe of, like, the beloved, you know, football coach at the end of a losing season kind of thing, where everyone is really, you know, very nice to him and has, you know, kind things to say, and everyone seems really happy to see him and whatnot, but, like, everybody knows what's happened, and everybody knows the current state that they find themselves in. So he is, yeah. And as you guys are talking to Ultima One, female Aslan peels away and comes over to you all, and she says in Galanglic, that's right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay. I'm trying to remember across settings. She says, forgive me. We have all been so glad to see Teal Toro once again, and that we have perhaps forgotten and such an eventful arrival, we may have forgotten our manners for welcoming guests. And I understand that you are all treasured friends of Teal Toro. My name is Elihase. Who are you?
I look at Captain Ghani to introduce us as...
We are... my name's Ghani, captain of the Rift Wanderer that brought Teal Toro here. And this is our pilot, Anchor.
I give a nod.
And Dr. Ilias here, patching me up. He also owns the Rift Wanderer. And over there is our military expert, Dane. You can see him. He's polishing his gun again. He does that a lot.
Her eyes seem to linger on Dane a little bit longer than the rest of you, as if registering something, and then turns back and she says, I am grateful. We are grateful for your assistance in thwarting the assassination attempt today. That was not unanticipated, but we had hoped that he might arrive without warning. We've had suspicions of if our Lord was able to make his way here, that his enemies may have had agents placed here. But the world is such a chaotic and changing place, it is difficult to track who is who when they arrive, and to ensure they do not lie. Tell me, are you intending on... Tila Toro says that you intend on staying for the evening and then preparing to depart shortly thereafter. Is that correct?
Yes, we are at his disposal. We will take him to his other destination, so if he wishes to stay here for a day or two, so will we. But let me, do you have any injured? Or did anyone else get injured during this fight? Is there anyone I can help?
She kind of looks at you and she says, we have medics among our... She kind of... Are you familiar with Aslan medicine? Physiology, doctor?
Only to a small extent, but I'm always happy to help if that there is need for it. But if everyone is covered, then I will keep on looking after Captain Ghani here, who is not as badly injured as he makes it sound.
Oh, no. What she says is, we have among our numbers those who are trained as battle medics, but no physicians properly. If our Lord speaks highly of you all, and once again her eyes kind of linger a little longer on Dane, we have a number of minorly injured, but if it is not an imposition, Doctor, having a fully trained physician such as yourself could not do further harm.
Gladly help.
I understand that Tila Toro has extended an invitation to you all for the feast we will be holding in his honor this evening. Will you be able to join us?
Yes, I'm quite looking forward to it. I believe so are my companions.
Absolutely.
Good. It will be traditional Aslan cuisine. We are quite close to the Hyrit. We have the benefit of having access to the proper supplies. I understand that your kind and the Vargar have difficulty processing that. We can arrange for different meals to be prepared.
That is very kind of you, but I was able to distill something that will help us with the feast and will let us reduce any side effects that we might have so we can fully enjoy your hospitality.
Indeed. Our scientists have a similar treatment that our kind does to be able to consume your... That is very impressive, Doctor. Then you are in for a treat. We are trying to ensure that Tila Toro receives the welcome that he is due at dinner. And we will be sure to save spots for each of you as well. And she thinks for a moment and says, would you require any assistance in preparing for the meal. And I think, unless one of you guys jump in, Ultima 1 will say, we have discussed the etiquette appropriate for such an occasion. And he looks over at you all as if to acknowledge, like, yeah? We talked about which fork not to use. So he nods, and she says, oh, good. She seems relieved. Dane, you would know from your readings of Aslan culture and whatnot, like, there is an element of ritualism that's going to go on to this too. And in the same way that someone might take offense if you interrupted a religious ceremony, it's not a religious ceremony, but it is afforded the same level of not gravity is not the right word, but the same level of import that, and it as such can, if you fuck up those rituals, offense can be taken to them in the same kind of way that, like, screwing up a religious ritual or interrupting a religious ritual might offend a devotee. So that may be why she is inquiring about this, to make sure, like, I just want to make sure no one's going to be, screwing up what is going to be an actual, ritualized form of social gathering. She says that, well, good, then please, we have set aside quarters for you as well. I hope that you do not... I hope that one quarters... We have tried to make best with what we have here, but it is a matter of making best with what is available. We have you all in one quarters together, and we have... I hope that you do not take offense. We have arranged for some of our number that serve on the security to take extra precaution with your ship.
Yes, that's useful. Thank you. I'd like to oversee the security arrangements while we're in the enclave.
Okay.
Permissible?
Sure. Give us a... Give us a...
He doesn't want to be a pain in the arse, but...
No, give us a diplomat? Let's start with this. Why don't you give us a... let's see here.
But I just outline the sort of tactical situation, use tactics, or...
No, what I'm trying to determine is, because I think... Keep in mind how, they're a militaristic, proud, whatever else. If you're saying, I want to oversee the security operations, they may choose to take the offense at suggesting that they aren't doing a good enough job with it. So, but I think that Dane, there's a chance he probably would have. It makes absolute sense that he would want to take charge of that. I'm just trying to determine.
I think Dane's pitch is we have taken collective responsibility for the security and safety of Tila Tora.
Yeah. So let's do this. Why don't you give us a diplomat check using education? Because that'll inform, like, that's how much reading you've done on it. There's probably a way of phrasing that would be informed by your research, which is why I'm thinking education might be the one.
Sorry,
here's where you break. Let's see some what do you call it? Double sixes.
Yeah, you see, I can't roll a die. I just cannot roll.
Oh my god. Would you like some luck? 4 luck would get that to
I'm just burning all our luck, sorry.
That's what it's there for. Yeah. We just started a fresh month. If you guys are starting off with a bunch of narrative meta currency being spent, it's all the better for my month-end bonus. Okay. So that is, I think there's a moment where she sort of, is trying to decide whether you're trying to offend with it. And then she says, there is one of our number who is coordinating with that, and I think he would happily take direction from one with your background.
In slightly broken, still slightly raw talk language, I will say to her, I'm very happy to support the activity of this security leader and offer my services as an additional asset to, I assume it's a he, to his detail and planning.
Okay. So there's a bit of a startled look on her face, partly because of the effort you clearly put into trying to learn it, and partly in trying to parse out what you're actually trying to say. And then she says back in the Aslan tongue, "Thank you." And she says it very slowly and very deliberately so that there's no misunderstanding with it. And
so hopefully I'm giving her the football scores or something.
Yeah, exactly. Me help good library. The what do you call it? So she does seem, as she's leaving, those of you who are more perceptive will likely see eyes are lingering on Dane once again. And then she says one of the other members of the Enclave will bring you guys down to where you are staying. Is there anything else you wish to do before you guys kind of break from here and leave Teal to get reacquainted with his friends?
Aliens will remind everyone of the enzyme and when to take it, and just of getting ready for the feast, and say that it will probably not reduce all effects, but and it's a one-off. But just making sure everyone is sort of ready and aware of.
Yeah.
And then double check, knowing that's what's injured, because he hasn't actually checked Anchor or Dane yet, so he'll actually ask them. They didn't look injured, but are you two okay? Any?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Good.
So then, you all head back to your quarters, to the one room that you're going to be doing, and you'll be Dane. They tell you that they'll be having someone check in on you for the security. They're just obviously busy and also welcoming Teal Toral. So you guys have an opportunity to. Ultima One actually excuses himself because he does speak fluently the language of the Aslan, so he is going to go and speak and kind of mingle among them for some time. But it leaves you guys amongst yourselves, and you have a moment of privacy, it seems. So as you guys are, there's 4 beds that are set up in here. They are bunk beds. They're seemingly trying to make use of the most. Making the best use of the limited space that is available here. They've set out toiletries and stuff like that for you guys, as would be expected from any good host. And looking at one another, now that you're all in the room together, what do you discuss, if anything?
So how many more legs of this trip do we have?
According to schedule, next up will be Sync, where he's planning, from what we've been told, to meet one person that might be the one who betrayed him.
Okay.
And then after that, Tayok, our final destination.
I wonder, so Dane, are they going to give us some sort of ship escort help, or are we on our own? That calls too much attention.
Yeah, good question.
Do we think we can expect a similar welcome on Sync?
Maybe tougher too, right? I mean,
yeah, maybe.
If our abilities are communicated.
Double their efforts.
Yeah, or
the one upside you guys have is
troops.
There's at least a 3-week or more window for when you may expect a response to whatever happened here. Right, because word's going to have to take a week to get to wherever they are, and then considerations, and then a week back, and then you factor in travel time with that. So you do have that working in your favor.
Yeah, so we can't linger here very long. I don't think we're intending to.
No. Yeah. Do we think the ones here have a backup plan, like a second attempt, in case the initial ambush wasn't going to work?
Well, was I able to recover IDs or anything? Or
Yep, you got a couple of things on them
so
too. Unfortunately, they do seem to be disciplined enough to not have. It's like, with your conspiracy background, Anchor, you're pretty quickly able to identify them as like these are obviously fake IDs and cover stuff.
However, I do mention that tattoo, so we can find out who. We can maybe backtrack and find out who hired that mercenary group or what mercenary group they're part of, who hired them, what they're about. Maybe Curatorial's people are doing that too. Maybe we should find out if they care or not.
Yeah, they would have to be staying somewhere on the world as well, right? So,
yep.
But yeah, as far as you can tell, they definitely are mercenaries, and they definitely have military background on them. But Dane seems to have a connection with or at least a contact with the Aslan, the local Aslan security forces. So in addition to planning the defenses here, he may have insight or have access to their insights on what they've done to try and suss out who these ambushers are.
Yeah, we should definitely find out about that.
Try and get their take on the situation. And given that they weren't surprised, well, all right, they weren't surprised, but what do they know?
Also, Dane, one thing to consider, and this is with full respect for your rank, but generally speaking, where are the non-comm officers or the officers when the shit goes down, as it were?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So these all, we couldn't tell really rank or previous rank or anything, could we?
That may not communicate into here, but if more to the point is that there may be whoever may have been organizing this or coordinating the group, someone has to have been in charge here. They may not have been on the front lines blazing away too. So there may very well be more members of this force that are still here. And they can't be on duty 24/7 as well. So while they would have had the warning of your ship arriving and whatnot too, it's not inconceivable that some number of their force may have been in downtime, while this operation went underway. It also might speak to what they brought to bear on you as well.
So we should also look what mercenary ships or what type of ships registered as mercenary companies are docked, what we might expect as possible pursuit or in-space stuff. That's where we're kind of weak. I mean, unless we just let ourselves be boarded and then see how it goes. But,
I can tell you that just in terms of what they were equipped with, they all had, obviously the frag grenades that Captain Ganny is well acquainted with. The auto pistols or with light automatic weapons. So really ballistic weaponry. No one had, Gauss rifles or mag rifles or laser weaponry, plasma weaponry, nothing like that. So as far as the gear, and they were wearing tack vests. So whether some of that is, it's just easier to conceal that stuff than it is to conceal the, low-grade military stuff that you guys are all, for the Gauss rifles or mag rifles, maybe higher-grade military. They weren't equipped the same way that you guys were, which might speak to the quality of the troops. It might speak to the concealability of some of that stuff, or, they were certainly, in terms of troop quality, they were poor marksmen. They were fairly poorly disciplined, and they, apart from the dispersal, I guess, and they weren't particularly well armored or armed.
Very amateurish.
Yeah, but it could also be, if I were a conspiracy theorist, and I am, it'd just be a way to test our capabilities.
That could be too.
You send the green troops in first,
Yep.
let them get annihilated, which suggests,
Yep.
a quality of leadership that I don't particularly care for.
No, that's one way to get the measure of your opponents is to, send the cannon fodder in, see how they respond, and then adjust.
Yeah.
Right.
That tends to also, nonetheless, indicate a shoddy outfit.
Well, a ruthlessness
Nonetheless.
at least. Do not underestimate ruthlessness for shoddiness.
It also is worth noting that if that is the case, then we've been referring to them as mercenaries. They may also be thought more accurately as hired guns.
Right.
This may just be a criminal organization, that someone else has hired out. And in the Reach, what the hell's the difference between the two, right? Like, there's not.
Yeah, I guess
there are official military charters where you're hiring on and you're, doing station security or local security on a planet or specific operations or whatnot. That is the more professional end of the mercenary guild. But there's also, bands of hired thugs who will do what's necessary to, secure a paycheck.
Yeah, well, we should inquire about stuff like that.
Let me ask you this. What species do you think hired these individuals?
Because these were humans.
These were humans.
Were they mixed gender?
Mixed gender, yes. So like men and women in among them.
But humans then.
But humans, definitely.
And I guess, the question would be to Tilatura, do Aslan make a habit of hiring non-Aslan mercenaries for such a task?
Not for, what Dane could tell you with his research, or Ultimate One with his knowledge of it, not to fight an honorable fight. Most definitely not.
Yeah, it's not honorable.
Conceal their involvement. Oh, what a shame he got killed by some human mercenary thugs. Oh no.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with us.
Like, there are members of of the Aslan species, particularly those of the Glorious Empire, who enslave humans and make them fight. But they still fight as a disciplined force and under the command of Aslan. Aslan hiring out human mercs, especially low-rent ones like this, would be viewed as an exceptionally shady tactic. Mm-hmm. Remember, a war of assassins is something that has to be declared among honorable Aslan clans. That is not the case here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, whatever suspicions that Tila Toril may have had with respect to there being betrayal and a dishonorable conduct of the fight that he lost, this is definitely in keeping with those kinds of tactics.
Yeah.
Oh. But he's never told us who the types of the people he suspects, right? He hasn't really shared that with us, who he is.
No.
I don't know. Now that we've been shot at, though, it spilled some blood.
Yeah.
Maybe we can ask some tougher questions.
Yeah, a threat assessment for the next place.
Right? Do we need to be, up our armor a little bit and look at Captain Ganny?
Well, one thing to consider with respect to Sync too is that Sync is a much more rural place than what this is. It's not a space station. Wow. It's a planet that has a breathable atmosphere and whatnot. Think of it like the dreariest parts of Scotland, but an entire planet. That is Sync in a nutshell. Hills, lots of rain, very remote, which means there are more things to be concerned with than just troops on the ground.
Yeah.
Anchor, if you think this was just an initial testing out their defenses, is there any risk during this feast tonight? Presumably whoever is behind this is familiar with Aslan customs. I assume that during a feast, guards will be let down.
I don't think. Yeah, undoubtedly they're food tasters. I'm sure there'll still be guards around, but maybe we should ask Ultima One if he has a good database. Maybe is there a history of any attacks or attempted assassinations But see, then they would announce it, right? They would say, well, we're going to try to kill you at the feast. You know,
they wouldn't necessarily, like, the way the Wars of Assassins are declared is just that it is just, it's kind of like selecting weapons at the start of a duel in human culture, right? What a War of Assassins is just saying, like, these are the means by which we're going to try and kill one another, and then you can do whatever you want. They value assassins quite highly in the culture, but it's an honorable weapon that in their perspective, it's just that it has to be used in an honorable way. It has to be used in a way that is recognized and declared. That includes deception, disinformation, and all those other things. Fog of war is one thing, but so like tricking someone into doing something is one thing, but actively concealing from an opponent you know is going to do something is just a different measure. Like all things in a code of honor, right? It's always a matter of perspective and always a matter of subjective assessment. So, but for things like poisoning at dinner and whatnot, that is obviously not a military strategy. That is an assassin tactic. Definitely would, to be honorable, have to be after a declaration of a war of assassins.
And there hasn't been, or there has been?
Has not. That's part of the reason is that when he attacked there was no War of Assassins that was declared, so it was viewed as dishonorable combat.
Okay.
They knew he was going to attack. They knew there were Aslan on that planet, and the Aslan concealed their forces specifically from him in a dishonorable way. That's his perspective on it. More to the point, those mercs that came in to face him, not for nothing, those were also human.
Oh, back in there. So I wonder if he has. Maybe he has a.
It was Aaron Sear. He tried to invade, and when he and his forces went down on there, and it was a concealed force of suddenly, arrived human mercenaries that turned the tide on that one. They were proper, requisitioned mercenaries, not like the gun thugs that you guys faced here, but yeah, that's twice that human mercenaries have been deployed in a surprise manner against Teal.
So maybe we need to find out if who he's pissed off on the human side of things.
Well, this is where it gets back to the issue of whether, we were talking earlier on, whether the dishonor is borne by him individually or his clan. Like, is it, if someone is just pissed at him and wants to prevent him from restoring his personal honor by arriving on planet, someone must really, really fucking hate him. That's a lot of money to expend in order to do that. Alternatively, if someone is just trying to dishonor the clan and prevent him from restoring that honor, because remember, if he gets back, even if he doesn't reveal any of this dishonorable shit on his part, there's a measure of restoring the honor of the clan by him showing up and participating in that ritualized combat.
Yeah.
If he doesn't arrive, that stain remains.
Right. So we just gotta figure out who would want the clan dishonored. What has the clan done? Maybe we can talk to Ultima One and he can tell us the history of this clan, or we can talk to some of these. Is there a clan historian nearby we could talk to?
What do you guys understand it as the potential parties behind this stuff? One of the things we talked about before was how Teal clan is actually a minor clan, but they are allied with one of the dominant clans in the region. And vicarious shame is a thing in Aslan culture. So if one of your subservient houses is dishonored, the dishonor carries forward to you. It's why, proxy wars hold such high stakes among the Aslan, because successes, the rise and fall of minor houses can potentially flow back to the larger houses, and when dishonor is alleged, that's something that is not treated lightly. So we're talking about so far about the personal shame of Teal, the shame of his clan. This may very well be just one of the consequences of dishonorable struggles between two of the great houses of the Hyrate. And he's just a small, consequence, or small consequence of those intrigues. truly, Tila Toro wishes he had Dr. Ilias's expertise in espionage and intrigue.
So, tangentially related to that, Dr. Ilias will ask, I guess, Dane and Anchor, more but also Captain Gani, is there a chance that this is not a squabble between Aslan clans, but I guess the Imperium would see the Hyrule as a threat potentially, and if there's destabilization among the clans, that's the Imperium's benefit, and seeing as it's mostly been human mercenaries involved so far? Could that mean an external factor rather than Aslan on Aslan politics?
So to that point, Captain Gani, what do you remember of what you have observed about troop movements in the time that you guys have been traveling through or taking this Borderland Run?
Oh, we saw I was focused, I guess, on the Navy, in particular. But, we knew that the Imperial Navy was moving into the Borderlands with to counter, evidently, any Aslan incursions.
So they're like showing the flag. They're like
Exactly. So
doing a little tour.
Because remember, we met up with the Gazelle class that rescued us from pirates, and they were heading off to, as you say, show the flag. So there's no
there was also
warfare.
And did you say it was an Imperial, what's called X-boat that was leaving system when we arrived
yeah, we
here?
saw that Imperial.
Which we thought was highly unusual and suspicious potentially, or not a good sign.
Yeah, someone seemed in a rush to get messages somewhere.
Yep.
How does that impact, knowing the movement of Imperial forces or the activity of Imperial forces? How does that impact your theory, Dr. Ilias?
Well,
but I think for Dr. Ilias, it seems to potentially reinforce the notion that this might be part of a larger Imperium v. Hyrule thing rather than individual clan politics or clan dislikes.
And Dane would certainly be familiar with surgical Imperial strikes being used to destabilize things in favor of the Imperium, for sure.
Yeah.
It tracks with Anchor's, board.
Yeah. The hollow red thread between...
Yeah, all the red threads, yeah.
It's a great running. Every Sunday, we have at least one player character who is conspiracy minded with a conspiracy board. So that's great.
Well, his is of course virtual, right? It's not.
Yeah. Yours is virtual, and Ingolf's character in our Spies of Paradar campaign, he has a conspiracy board with
real
thread.
one, yeah. Of course, in Spies of Paradar. Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't do it this way. Is my take.
I mean, but Dane, you've met that rogue general or admiral. They're around.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and
what I would do, I would send in the Night Wraiths. It's my old unit. That's what I would do. They'd do.
We haven't seen any evidence of Night Wraiths, right? I mean,
no.
He kind of looks at you steely, but then you wouldn't.
So I assume if Dane's old unit was involved, it would be dead now.
Yes, correct.
One way to think of it too, Dane, is cui bono. How does the Imperium profit from this?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, do we see a lot of evidence of Imperial movement or ambassadors in force in Drinax? Because Drinax could they be? Do we feel like Drinax could make a power play in this area? I mean,
what was your impression of the king?
Just bravado? I mean, I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Captain Gani, why don't you give us a? Do you have I can't remember what is there a fleet tactics?
There is a ship's tactics. I know that. No.
Quite conceivably, but I don't have it.
Nice. I'm not really interested in the operation of the fleet. I just like pretty ships. So
I was an engineering officer.
Yeah, we're just in engineering. We don't get to do all the planning. We just tell the captain, we're giving it all we can, Captain.
why don't you give us an education roll then, Captain Ganny?
Here we go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think what you've seen, at least, and you've overheard at that bar, because we didn't go into detail when you were sitting around drinking with all those Navy guys back on, was it Gibraltar Station you guys were hanging out with them, or was that on another?
It was Gibraltar Station.
It was Gibraltar Station, yeah. So, like, you no doubt picked up, I think there's parts of the conversation that you had there that probably falls into context now, and, like, yeah, like, there's a lot of movement that's in here, but it isn't the, like... It's not the let's occupy, the region kind of movement. It's the, as you say, it's the show the flag. It's the waving the stick kind of stuff. It's the, like, we don't want to be in here, but, like, in the event you make a play for this, the border, the whole Trojan Reach itself serves a really effective purpose, which is to have a buffer zone between the two major empires. Good fences make good neighbors, right? And if the rumors are true of increasing tensions with the Zodani consulate, the last thing the Imperium would want is to invite a two-front war. And one of the ways to deter that is to just be sure that no person gets the feeling that they can take more than what they are due. So whether the Imperium would go to war over losing territory like having the neutrals at territory of the Trojan Reach taken over by the Hyrate, that's an open question. But it doesn't seem like the people that you spoke to, that they think it's anything more than just, it's flying close to the border to make people aware that they can do that stuff. That doesn't explain the X-boat, but it's not unprecedented that a bunch of ships would be, showing up at the Aslan border. Circumstances just dictate that stuff.
Well, they're not crossing, and I'm sure yeah.
And it's worth noting,
a bit of gunboat diplomacy.
Exactly. Like, this is a matter of... they aren't deploying the largest ships that they have in fleet in order to do that. That's where you really need to make it clear that, look, we really mean business here, and this is not the largest and most impressive ships that are being sent out here. It's stuff that would be involved. They'd be doing the nitty-gritty of the fleet tactics and fleet, engagements. But this is just a friendly reminder. This is it is a flyby, as it were, in a Cold War, not a anticipation of engagement. Though it leans more towards the latter than the former, given how many ships are on display. Does that make sense, guys? I've used a lot of metaphor, undetermined or indistinct talk there, but hopefully that's clear. They're not on the cusp of, doesn't seem like in your mind, Captain Ganny, they're on the cusp of ready to fight either an aggressive or a defensive war, but they're more, it's a very strong warning that seems to be coming from here. From
all the capital ships are remaining in Imperial space.
Precisely, yeah. So as you guys are talking this through, what does that make all of you think then, as far as your immediate threats are and your immediate need to see your passenger through to his destination?
Someone more local. Some human minor state more local that could be causing all this causing these problems. Or Tila Toral and his clan. Because they have a closer interest, right? Like if the Hyrule doesn't expand to the border, but has some sort of influence and control. Right? Look at this station. There are a lot of Aslan, at this station. So it's possible that a local polity is not pleased
Well, one thing to consider, guys, remember there was one of the possible routes that you were going to take in here, you chose to avoid because of they were dominated by a rival Aslan clan, one of the ones that is allied with Tealetoral's clan's enemies. There is more than while the the warriors who run these clans may want to say that like conquering and whatnot is all. There's more than one kind of power, and there's a great deal of mercantile opportunity between the Hyrate and the Imperium that goes directly along this route here, and having influence in that area that is non-military, that stuff is still quite valuable.
So it means you have to ask, what is GDCO getting out of this?
GDCO, we're always here.
I know Kevin. I don't know if he's also brought up this glorious empire people, and they're willing to throw humans into the fire willy-nilly. Maybe that's some other thing we should look at. Hey, these mercenary companies or these guys with their tattoo, were they ever down there?
You would know if they were, there's a very distinctive...
ever missing or captured, right? I mean, that's something to look at.
The Glorious Empire...
But they probably can't project, though.
No, and they're also, they are more limited in the scope of their power.
Yeah, they're also out, so.
Very much a blunt instrument. Like, the Glorious Empire has a respectable military. They will happily enslave humans. They're not really one, as far as a proper declared war or like a war of honor and a war of assassins, they are way more in the favor of the former. They will happily send troops in, but they also have some pretty impressive weaponry, and they make use of extensive cybernetic devices to enslave the folks. Running Man-esque, like explosive cauldron stuff, is not unheard of for the Glorious Empire. The Glorious Empire, you're not wrong to think that they might be used as an external tool for the Hyrate, in some ways, because the Hyrate permits them to exist, but they are more used in a overwhelming force capacity than they are in a subtle thing.
I think it's a local polity, or maybe like you just mentioned, Dr. Dillon, one of the mega corporations or the virtual mega corporations in this sector, right? That have a lot of power and influence. They
maybe
prefer a deep stabilization. I mean, how well do non-Aslan companies do in Aslan space? I mean, I don't know. Are they taken over by clans?
Free merchants, from what Ultima 1 was able to travel freely through there at one point, right? He spent a number of decades in Aslan space. But you're not wrong, though, that you would need to have the permission of government in order to operate in there, and it's unlikely that any Aslan company is operating in Imperial space. But what is it? The second oldest profession of any civilized or any civilization is the middleman. So
maybe it's time after the feast, so tomorrow morning, once we have left, we have a chat with Tealetoril himself and ask him what he thinks, and maybe if he's willing to, seeing as we have now sort of directly experienced the violence and the threat, maybe he's willing to tell us a bit more, Dane, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Could certainly ask. We need to do a proper threat assessment, and we've got these many options for potential assassins, be it sort of external Imperial pressure, sort of mixing things up to try and keep the Aslan on, the back foot. Is it direct rivals, testing and probing his capacity to defend himself? There are a range of possibilities on the basis of what we've seen so far. It's not clear, except it was done quite bluntly. That's really the only thing. It was a blunt tool. It was a blunt tool. Inexpertly wielded.
If someone from your unit, Dane, was in charge of this, it is unlikely that there would have been, for one, they would not have been spotted, and two, the target would have been dead.
Yeah, definitely. They would have done it there, for starters.
Oh, Carl's giving us their opportunity to toast Mo.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
To Mo?
I guess you can see my lips moving, but you can't hear me.
Yeah, I can see your lips moving.
I'm not a straight up assassin. You know? A straight up assassin shooting the main target, and then blunt cover, sure, but the assassin takes out the target, and then.
He certainly wasn't a hard target either, as far as identifying is concerned. He was wearing the ceremonial robes.
Sure. Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
In which case, Anchor might consider. Is that a sign of respect or a way of marking the target? You are conspiracy minded.
What do you mean marking the target? You mean?
I mean, here's this red hat that I want to make you wear, and then I've also informed my assassin, shoot the dude in the red hat.
Oh, they didn't shoot the dude in the red hat, right?
They didn't shoot. Yeah, they didn't shoot the person wearing the ceremonial robes.
Right. So it was odd. Maybe it's just like, again, probing or letting us know that we're still here, or if we are doing our job, then we're ahead of the game and they couldn't muster enough of whatever, or they think we're somewhere else, and that somewhere else is like where, you know, all the good ones are, all the good assassins are.
We did jump in the middle of nowhere and then sort of
we did jump in the middle of nowhere, so maybe that
threw them off.
Maybe.
Maybe this was like a rush job. Unfortunately, we killed everyone, so we can't, we can't interrogate them. Right? Everyone's pretty much are taken by the station security, so.
Yeah.
So maybe your contacts may have learned something and they're willing to share, Dane.
Maybe. So try it.
And at that, you hear kind of a knock at the door. I'm not going to knock because otherwise Anna will bark.
We'll let them in, I guess, cautiously.
Okay, so you go over and answer the door. Yeah. And, I mean, it's Elahase again.
Okay.
And she looks around and says, I'm sorry, I did not mean to disturb. There is still some time before the feast, but Dane Lovric, might I have a conversation with you?
Certainly.
She gestures to the hallway. I would prefer privacy.
Very well. I have nothing to hide from any of the crew members. They're effectively my clan brothers.
And she sort of... it's tough to read the expression on an Aslan's face, and you don't have that much time around them, but she says, but perhaps I would prefer it.
Very well.
And with the two of you leaving, that leaves us with a second potential ambush to end our session. So we will leave things there because we're already out of time. Yeah. So for first off, everyone gets your usual XP. Yeah. And that brings us to the close of session 25 of our Borderlands Run campaign. And while not technically in the calendar year, since we've marked it with our year in review, that marks the kickoff of our second, I guess, season of this campaign with a bang. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 25 of our Borderland Run campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have channels dedicated to this campaign, most other campaigns we've run on the channel, as well as most most of the games we run. There's also a great selection of other channels for like finding a group or GM discussion or otherwise. And there's a great community that has built up over the years over there. Very helpful and friendly and knowledgeable people. You are more than welcome to join us over there. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord. Wait, guys, we're caught in a loop. Oh, no! There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have something in stock in their extensive catalog that you want to get, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight. All caps, all one word. It's in the description of the video, and you'll save yourself 10% on your purchase, as I did on my 2 decks of Star Wars Fantasy Flight Edition cards that I ordered after yesterday's session. And if you were listening to this after June 30th, 2024, come back to one of our more recent videos and you'll find what the current discount code is, because it changes every couple of months. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children, including ongoing relief efforts in a bunch of crisis areas that you can learn all about by following that link. And any donations made through that link go directly to them. None of it comes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. As a small way of saying thank you, we have been running yesterday we ran 2 Star Wars sessions to celebrate May the 4th. And aka Star Wars Day, and those were voted on by donors who have donated since January 1st, 2024. We will be kicking off the second half of the year's charity sessions with a couple of hopefully fun options. If you have donated $25 or more since January 1st, 2024, you will be able to vote on those. And just like we did last year, we'll have donors help us shape the charity sessions that we are running on the channel by voting on what kind of characters we're playing, what game we're using, what setting. And I hopefully have a fun idea for the second. Well, I have an idea that I hope will be fun, is a more accurate way of presenting that. And donors will be able to vote on that stuff. So the last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart travelers. So Graham, Carl, David, and James, thank you so much for joining me back on Homeworld and in the Trojan Reach. That was I love our shooty. You know, I gotta say, I read at its base level overview, I was expecting, we've only really had one fight in this thing, I was expecting combat that was simplistic to the point of not really feeling substantial, but that felt, from my side, quite tense. I was worried for you guys, and it felt satisfying. Anna also wishes you all a happy Cinco de Mayo. She has heard my outro on a Sunday, and she has come in to say hi once again. So, but yeah, that was actually, like, I enjoyed that. I think the combat felt there was more meat to there, but it felt like it went along at a dangerous clip. So,
yeah, absolutely. I felt threatened.
Definitely.
And I do prefer our opponents not to have Gauss rifles. That makes things a lot better.
Definitely. I mean, the grenades definitely gave them an advantage here, so there was that. Then we will be back then, but until then, we hope that we gave you folks a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes aboard the Rift Wanderer are encountering as they're just trying to deliver a package. I mean, how hard can this job be? I have a whole new respect for Amazon, FedEx, UPS drivers now. But we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.